are women and child empowerment, international peace, public health and hygiene, old age homes, pandemic and disaster management, environment, cybersecurity awareness, media and information literacy programs, rural educational counseling and awareness, blood donations, and community development programs. We started in August 2012, and today we have a team of 600 plus volunteers, and our volunteers are mostly working professionals, students, and homemakers. Now I would like to invite Yadu Krishna Menon to talk about how we came up with the idea of Sunday e-talks. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Hope I'm loud and clear and I'm audible. So, uh, Helping Brains was working for several issues during this lockdown, and including like the food donations, the migrant support travel, and all. So, one of the issue which Helping Brains saw was unemployment, and a lot of people were not being helped because nobody was interested to touch this topic. So, here is where many of us started working on this topic. We started counseling people, helping people with opportunities. We started certain WhatsApp groups and certain Telegram groups and all. So there is where we understood there is a need for um, upskilling. There's a need for knowledge sharing and all. And uh, I connected with a lot of friends, including Deepak sir, who is with me for the past 2 years in several community service activities as well. So where we agree to take a session on different trending topics of the market, uh, which can help a person to take a direction in their life. And in this mission, we also want to help them to understand if there are certain certifications, certain tools, certain topics they need to learn. The speaker will be also connecting on those topics. So this is everything in a nutshell. And why we chose Sunday is because Helping Brains is a weekend volunteer group. Plus, everybody will be free on a Sunday evening around 7. So we just want to use this time for something valuable, that is learning. And this will be mainly a 30 minutes session wherein the speaker will be 30 to 40 minute session, in fact, wherein the speaker will be talking about various topics he is experienced in. We are doing such kind of activities from 2013, which we call as Experience Sharing Congress, wherein a person who is experienced in a domain talks about how, when, and why he chose that particular domain and how he is working in it, and how a person can develop himself or herself into it. So in next 20 minutes, you can ask your questions on the mail, on the question box, or you can put the questions across in that particular option which you have. And Deepak sir will be answering your questions as well. And if there are any further queries, you can drop a note to Deepak sir directly. He can also help him out. So that is all from a Sunday e-talks point of view. Back to you, Sneha.
Sure. Can we move to the next slide, please? Sure. Um, so I want to introduce our today's panelist. So he is an experienced data science professional from Muzaffarpur, Bihar, who currently resides in Delhi with his family. He is renowned keynote speaker and analytics enthusiast. Currently, he's working as an associate vice president. So he's a data science at he's a associate vice president at Karvi Insights. He has received his degree from IMT, his MBA degree. He has 12 plus years of experience in research and analytics domain. He worked with HCL, IMRB, and other renowned organizations. He has conducted a list of guest lectures, training, workshops in various places like IIT Gandhinagar, IMT, Amity, and others. He's passionate about teaching, reading books, and social work. Please welcome our today's speaker, Mr. Deepak Jha. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Sneha. Uh, Yadu, I'm sharing my screen now.
Sure, sir.
Okay, great. So firstly, I would like to thank everyone who had joined this session this Sunday afternoon. And like Yadu said, that Helping Brains is always there for all of you, for community services, for knowledge sharing workshops, for so many other things we do. And I really want to thank Helping Brains for allowing me today to come and present my story and how the data science journey I have been to, and what all things I have done. Since we are a technical speaker, we don't get chance usually to speak on the journey and all. Most of the time we do the technical workshops where we are training people on various kind of a technology and all kind of outsets. So that is what it is till now. But today this is a special opportunity because we are meeting into a different type of environment where we are not demonstrating any tools and any kind of a thing. So data science, it's a buzz around the world. It's everywhere. Why? Because data is everywhere. It's becoming such a huge deal that data science, and there's like artificial intelligence, machine learning, what else? Cloud computing, data analytics, and the ever elusive term data science, the one term to rule them all everywhere. So most of the time we go to the several conferences, etc., and people do ask me how I can enter the data science and all. So this was the whole objective, and then me and you do discuss that we can have such kind of a session in Sunday eTalk. So let me start. I will be sharing my journey, how I started, where I am right now, what I have been doing till date, and how actually transition myself into a data science career. Hopefully, this will be inspiration. I'm not saying that I have done something great, I have achieved something good, but I love my job, and that is what matters because it's my passion to share knowledge, and that can help many of you also to start your journey in data science. So like this first slide said, everyone has a story to tell. So am I. So let me share my story, and hopefully you will be actually liking this. So this is me right now. And this is one of the conferences. I did it in last year when we were having those physical meeting and all those face-to-face conferences, etc. And this is in a five-star hotel for Gurugram, where I was interacting with more than 150 or 200 odd product leaders, professionals over there. So if I talk about my profile presently, like Sneha said, that I'm an associate vice president data science at Carvey Insights. This sounds very heavy, and what all we do, so we are actually doing all kind of a data analytics and everything over there. Now, this is my work area, but the most important part of my life has been the passion beyond work, what I am doing presently apart from the work, because work is a part of life to earn the bread and butter. But the passion which I follow is my speaking, training, guest lecture in data science domain, not only for me, but for everyone else. So these are some of the, you can say, the talks which I had given. So I have given around 50 plus talks till date in last couple of years. I've interacted more than 1,000 students, academicians, professionals. I have been associated with 10 plus professional association. And I have been to several colleges because I follow my passion to share my knowledge. So I've been to IITs, METs, and etc. These were the colleges. So this was my journey where I'm right now. But this is not the thing important. The important is how I came here. I guess all of you can hear me because some of the people are saying that I'm not audible.
So you need to be a bit near to the mic. There's some comments coming in. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
can.
yeah. So just a second. Sorry, but I guess it's fine now.
Yes, it is much more clear.
Great.
Correct.
Thank you
Correct.
so much. So how it all started. It's very important to look back to the dots and connect that. A person's journey is actually a process where he starts and how he reaches. And everybody sees the front end where he is standing right now. But it's very important to see the journey. Like everyone has their own journey. There's nothing that somebody can copy from someone else and they can follow the same steps because everyone's life is different. But definitely a learning from others' life do help us. And that is what I wanted to share. So the road less traveled, like famously we said, this is me in the year of 2000, basically when I moved to Delhi. I started my schooling from a remote village in Bihar, and I was a Hindi medium student till my intermediate, till 12th standard. And this is a school where I actually studied. Now, some of you might wonder that this is a like 20 years old or 25 years old pig, but it is not. The pic has been taken in the photos in February 2020, this year. So if you see the pic, you can understand that what is the condition of a school it is. And this is the reality of most of the Indian states or remote states where there is no facility available. Actually, it is not right now, till now. There was no electricity when I started my journey, and my village got an electricity in the year of 2015. This is not for the sympathy to gain, but this is to tell you the reality that from how people from so much remote states comes and make their career in, you can say, the lights of metro cities. And so those who are having a privilege of a good education, good access to all those resources, they should be feeling they should have a gratitude for that. So that is what the purpose. So this is from where I started. And after completing my education in Patna, after completing my 12th, I moved to Delhi. I did my graduation in mathematics honors from Delhi University. And then I completed my master's in computer application from UPTU. And after that, like everyone was searching a job, so I also joined an organization as an intern, and that was HCL. Though I love programming in college, but I didn't enjoy it. I never wanted to become a programmer. So that was a point that I thought that, no, this is something which I don't want to do. Now, if I say there was some fear also, fear in my mind, the most important fear was the communication skill, because communication skill was the most of the part, because we were coming from a Hindi heartland where there was no English. I started learning English in the 6th standard of my school. There was no kindergarten. I never been to wear a school uniform because we didn't had it, right? So those were the situation. But having said that, those things actually gave me an strength that, okay. And then another fear was the public speaking. This was one thing I never wanted to actually share with so many people, that I never had a chance to interact with publicly, because that was a fear, because somebody will know, oh, this guy is not speaking good English and his tone is not good. But there was some strength also, because the strength was my confidence and never give up attitude. So this is what actually pushed me. And then I started my journey in data science. When I joined my first company, that was IMRB International, I started as a data processing executive. So it was a market research firm where we were collecting a lot of consumer insights data, and we were doing certain kind of analysis to get that. But while doing the analysis, we were not knowing that what actually we are doing. And this is the mistake every one of us most of the time actually make, that we don't know what we are actually doing and why we are doing. I also made the mistake. I did not understood that what is my work is. I was just doing the work what has been assigned to me without knowing that why this particular work is done. And this is what the real situation of the industry is. Whenever you are working on a certain module or a project, though you are a part of a big, you can say data science or all those kind of umbrella, but you are not understanding. So that it took me around 3 to 4 years, I can say, when I moved to the second organization and the third organization to understand that what is it is all about. Then the year 2012 came when the Harvard Business Review published an article that data science is the sexiest job of 21st century. And then everyone started talking about data science. So the term came data science, as some of the data scientists of a US, like Mr. Patel and all those guys who are actually the LinkedIn expert, they said they coined this term, and then the new domain emerges. And after that, it is just they have seen the growth only. And also there was like again and again, people were coming, interacting, and they are contributing into the data science field. So now once this started, then I also joined it. And my reason to be in this profession was three, because I had a passion and curiosity to solve the problem, because this is what I love to do. And then since I was a mathematics honors graduate, so mathematics and statistics was my favorite subject. And since computer background, but though I didn't had an interest in code programming, and I also learned the business problems and gained some kind of a domain knowledge. So actually I qualified to become a data scientist, or I'm not calling myself as a data scientist. I call it as a data science professional, because data science is a big window, and you can say a big umbrella where so many things is comprises, which we will discuss gradually. So now the question comes, what a data scientist does exactly? And the one-line answer is, a data scientist solves a problem using statistics with the help of computers. This is a very simple thing. And this is what matters, right? So most of the time, we, even in this data science industry, or all those guys who are working in a different consulting firm and so many other firms, their only objective is to identify a problem and how you can solve that problem using some kind of a statistical technique with the help of computer algorithm, etc. Now the question comes, why data science is so hot right now and why it is well solved? The only reason for this is the amount of the data which is present right now. And everyone is either generating the data or collecting the data. Like we are interacting right now, right? We are interacting at present, and in fact, we all are actually generating the data. This is what we are doing. And then the third point is that, you need someone to get insights and information out to solve the problem. So obviously there's a data present and it is increasing day by day. That is why we are calling, somebody calls that data is a new oil. Why it is oil? Because oil is raw. Whenever you see the oil is a raw. Oil doesn't make oil when it is taking out of the earth, and you cannot use it directly. You have to transform it to make it in a different forms like a petrol, diesel, gasoline, etc. Similarly with the data, the raw data, just collected data, has no use until or unless you are converting it into the form of information. So that is why data science is so hot right now. Now the question comes, how much data is actually present? So now there was a guy called Mr. Smith, who was a Google CEO in 2006. And at that point of time, he said that up to 2003, we have generated 5 exabyte of the data. Exabyte is a, you can say, terminology where exabyte, petabyte, zettabyte, and so many things is there when you measure the data. And he said that till the beginning of the humanity, till 2000, you can say 3, all the data was generated in 5 exabyte. And right now the condition is that we are generating that much in a day or two. So you can imagine how much data is there. There are 4.5 billion internet users in the world. And as of 2003, experts believe that 90% of the world data was generated from 2011 to 2012 itself, till then, okay? Then in 2018, more than 2.5 quadrillion bytes of data were created every day. An estimate is right now, by the 2020, 44 gigabytes of the data will be present on this earth. Now somebody can ask, what the gigabyte? One, if you add 21 zeros next to one, that is the size of 1 gigabyte. The mind cannot calculate it. So this is what the real scenario is. If you talk about the top companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, they are the custodian of 1200 petabytes of people's information. Like we all know, we all are using internet, we all are using so many technology, and we all are a part of contributing every single day, right? So since this many information is available, since this many data is present, so you need somebody to get the information out of this data. And then you say, that becomes a data science. That's why you need data science. Now, the question is, what is data science? This is one question many of the people, you search Google and you interact with all those data scientists, the people like us and everywhere, the people ask. So there is a famous Venn diagram. This is widely used in our industry, which explain the data science all about. So there are three parts basically. One is a computer science, another is a mathematics and statistics, and third is a business and domain expertise. And a combination of all of them, center, if you see, this is data science. So if you mix computer science with mathematics and statistics, it becomes a machine learning. If you are building a software using computer science and expertise of your business domain, it becomes a traditional software development. And if it a math and statistics used with a business domain, it becomes a data analysis. Now, comprises of all of them put together, it becomes data science. Now, somebody asked why we call it this domain as a data science, and why a person working in a data science is being addressed as a data scientist. Because the software developer never addressed as a software scientist. Then why data science professional is being called as a data scientist? So there's no hard and fast, or you can say well-defined definition about this. But what I believe that why we call it ourselves as a data scientist or a people working in this field, the main reason is that what a scientist does. Scientist does an experiment, right? He sits in a lab and he do multiple experiments before he decides something, and he gives some kind of a recommendation in the form of a tangible product or a knowledge, or you can say some kind of a product he built based on a multiple experiments what he does. Similarly, a data scientist is also sitting in a cubicle of an office or nowadays at a home, and he is also doing a lot of experiment with the data before he comes out of a solution. So the process is same, and actually the process is actually defining the name data scientist. So now this is the one reason. Okay, so that's how it is. The data science is being called. Now, there are certain questions, right? The first question is, who can become a data scientist? This is a famous question, and many of you attending this particular webinar is also having in your mind. Somebody can ask, should I be a programmer for entering into the data science? Should I be a mathematician or a statistics genius to enter into the data science? Should I learn Python, R to become a data scientist? These are the common questions everyone of you will ask, or everyone else who is aspiring to become a data scientist is also asking this particular question. Now, what is the answer? The answer is not exactly. Now, this is I'm telling you based on my experience. I might not be correct also 100% because somebody might disagree with me. But overall, if you think there's no one particular skill needed for becoming a data science professional, this is a hard truth. Then how? Answer is you should be a polymath. What is a polymath? A polymath is a person with a wide knowledge and learning, right? We all know that polymath is a person who understands multiple things. And if I will say, I will not call it like a jack of everything or master of nothing. No, nothing like that. But he should be having the knowledge of different types of domain. So you remember the person, the famous polymath of the world, Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not saying that you should be a Da Vinci to become a data scientist. Of course not. This is just for the representation of the polymath. So don't get scared. It simply means that you should have a decent knowledge of computer programming, mathematics, statistics, and domain expertise. Even if you don't have any one of them, still you can definitely become a data scientist, because the main reason is, in simple terms, you are not supposed to fly the plane. For example, I'm just giving an example that if you want to become a data scientist, the simple example is that you are not supposed to fly the plane. That means you are not supposed to know the algorithm details or programming details behind how this algorithm. Definitely, if you know about that, that's good. But if you are not, then also there is no stopping. But you should know how the plane flies. Actually, that is important. You are supposed to know most of your core job is performed by the machine, because the machine you use, the tools you use, actually they do your job. So even if you don't know the core algorithms which is being used in machine learning, even if you don't know the lot of longer formulas, etc., because we as a data scientists are very lazy people, right? And not we, but the person who has worked in this domain for several years, they have created the libraries, right? So if even if you're using a particular tool like Python or R, there are libraries. So 100,000 lines of a code. For that, you have to just write one single sentence. So that is the smart work a data scientist does. And that is you can say dark truth, that even if for solving a biggest, toughest problem also, you might not have to know the complete algorithm. You just select a couple of libraries, use it, and your solution will be ready. Nowadays, these tools are becoming so smart that even if you don't know how to select a particular algorithm, there are programs who select it for you also. So you have to be just knowing the details, what is your problem, what you want to solve, and how you can keep it. Right? So now what is the skill sets which is required to enter into data science? Definitely one of the programming language like R or Python, because this is not important to learn the programming, but this is not important to use the environment, because you will be solving a problem using some of the programming language. So you should have an understanding of the programming environment. Second is, obviously I told you, again I'm repeating, the decent knowledge of statistics and applied mathematics is very important, because that is the technology we use to solve the problem. And third is creative thinking and industry knowledge. That is very, very important, because the domain which you are working on, the problem you are facing right now, or you are trying to solve, you should be knowing about that. Apart from this, if you say that, if somebody can ask that, okay, I get this particular skill set, and then can it be obsolete? Yeah, definitely. Because most of the time the people say that, okay, I learned R or Python and I can be safe in the industry. No, you are not, because the 3 years or 4 years back, if you think, there was a lot of tools which is being used at present were not even existing at that point of time, right? So tools become obsolete after some time. Okay, so even a 4 year, 5 years, maybe Python won't exist. R won't exist. Who know about that? But the concept, the technology will remain. The concept, or whatever you are thinking, whatever your knowledge, and you should be knowing the logic. So logic is important, tools are not, right? So this is one of the myth people do keep in their mind. Oh, if I learn this particular tool, I will become a data scientist. No, that is not true. But still, having said that, tools knowledge is very important, because that is the platform on which you are solving the data science problem. Now, some widely used tools, if I call it, there are so many tools available, and there are two types of definitely tools. One is an open source tool available, and another is a commercial tool available. So if you go for open source tool, the tools which you don't have to pay any money for that, so that is R, Python, Orange, Nime. These are some of the examples I have taken. And then there's a commercial tools like Excel. Of course, Excel is a common tool, everybody uses it in our everyday life. And then SAS, SPSS, Power BI, Tableau, Click, Google Analytics, and there are many more tools. Even if you go to certain kind of organization, they have their own tools. Even my organization has their own tools to do kind of analytics and all those things. But somewhere it is coming similar to this. So this is the tools arena where you can say that data science life and the work happens. Now, if I talk about some career insights, now data science experts are needed in virtually every job sector, not just in technology. So people have like a technology company or a research company or analytics company or a consulting company only has this requirement. But actually every single company who is interacting with customers, who are building some products, who are selling some services, will need a data scientist, even if they don't have it right now, but over the period of time, they are going to. So the career is very, very bright ahead, because the data will be added every day, right? We are adding the data, we are not subtracting. Like if you remember the software development, once it started developing in the 2000s, 2005, 2007, 2009, the buzz was of the IT industry, right? Everybody wants to become a software professional at that point of time. Now what is happening, the software are in a place right now. Now those softwares are actually collecting a data, and now those data is being analyzed or utilized by the company to make further development for their own growth or a business. Now, anyone can switch to a data science by acquiring a mandatory skill. This is very important insight. Anybody. Like we actually, if you look closely, that we all are actually using the data science techniques in our day-to-day life. For example, if I say you are buying a product, right? So if you are buying a product, at that point of time also, you are making some decisions based on the data you have. So even if you are buying a product, if you are you can say deciding to go for a holiday, or you are actually, even you are crossing a road. So suppose you are crossing a road, you are standing on a road, you want to cross the road, and what do? You see a car coming and you don't cross it directly. You imagine in your brain that whether if I move right now, will car hit me or it won't? And then you take a decision, and then you move and you are safe. So what is happening? The event, if you look it in a computer perspective or mathematics perspective, actually you are doing a probability. So there is an algorithm, there is a theorem running in your mind, which is calculating the probability of getting hit by car, and then you are actually crossing the road. So these kind of a small statistics, we are maintaining our expenses, we are maintaining our records, our travel records, we are paying for finances, you can say insurance, etc. So every person is using some kind of a variable to make their daily life decisions using certain kind of a data, maybe on a smaller scale, of course, but they are doing a data science job. So that is why it is very easy, or I will say that it's not that difficult to switch into this particular field. right? I think I've made my point clear. Now, every company needs a person with proficiency in the data skill. So even if you are working in an organization who doesn't have a data science right now, but definitely over the period of the time, they will need someone to do that. Now, what kind of opportunity and roles is there? Definitely, it's a wide field. There are certain different kinds of a role, but most of the role are overlapping with each other. Okay, and sometimes a role in one organization is being addressed as a different types of a role in another organization. That is also happening most of the time. So here are some certain roles I have mentioned, like a data scientist, data architect, data administrator, data analyst, business analyst, analytics manager, business intelligence manager. So these are the some of the, you can say, mostly widely used terms for the professionals working in this particular field. Apart from, you can say, all those guys who are working the back end or a front end and so on. So you need to identify your own skill, your interest, where you are actually wants to take your career, and then decide and apply accordingly. Now, if you ask me advice and suggestions, if I say it's not hard and fast, apart from whatever I have spoken till now, the four things which is very important, and that is a common skill. It is not a technical skill. It is a soft skill which will actually help you more into this particular field rather than acquiring just a technical skill. So curiosity is important. Curiosity is the most important part, because until unless you are not asking right questions, or you are not interested to knowing the problem, identifying the problem, you have to be you should be hungry that, oh, this is the problem, I can solve it. Oh, this is the data I should need. So you have to be very open-minded to get that. Second is awareness. You have to be very, very, very much aware about the things, events happening in your domain where you are working and where you are actually trying to find the problem. And then perseverance. That is very important. We all know. Apart from this, the one and only one things which will make you successful in the career transition in the data science is practice, practice, practice. Because practice makes a man perfect, and it is true for each and every career field. And this is mostly true, and you can say highly true for the data science, because every day you have to dedicate certain kind of a time period, and then you have to be curious about that. You are solving a problem, you are taking some problem, you are actually going on to different types of you can say participating in different types of hackathon happening and learning about. And the beyond this data science, there is artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, those techniques. So the core advice is to start small. Just don't jump into the higher complex algorithm. Just don't start trying for like, okay, this is the algorithm I should try, this is the something which I should actually start doing it. Start small, and then gradually make yourself you can say comfortable. If you're totally new, if you're already in this field and you want to achieve bigger heights, if you want to get hired by top companies, then you have to understand that you should be able to understand the algorithms. You have to be very curious about that, what all problems these companies are taking. You have to read so many materials. There are certain kind of online educations portals, and nowadays, even in last 6 months since this pandemic happened, there are a lot of free courses available by those you can say top giants like Google, Microsoft. They are providing so many free information, so that also you can utilize, and you can go on all those portals like Coursera, Udemy, and there are certain number of courses which one can do. So build your peer network, try to actually learn about these techniques, because this objective of this particular session was not to go to technical or a core technical, to just give you an overview of the whole, which I had tried my level best to do that. But still, if you need any deep kind of understanding that what particular algorithm or what particular things, you can connect me anytime, and I will be able to ready to help you. So before I sign off, I'll just, which I do most of the time, and then I always say, and I follow this guy actually like anything. And what he said, that you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that that dots will somehow connect if you are in your future sometime, right? So like he said, stay hungry, stay foolish. So that is also true for the data scientist also, that you have to be curious, you have to be hungry for the knowledge, and you have to always think that there are many things to learn. So I hope I made my point today and you all had enjoyed. I will love to take the questions. Thank you very much for listening. Over to Sneha or Yid.
Thank you, sir. That was awesome, to be honest. And the curiosity started building when you showed me the school. And said you when you came to Delhi, I mean, you gained weight. That's what I understood as well.
Right.
So thank you so much for this wonderful session, sir. I mean, it definitely threw a lot of insights to a lot of people around. Few questions which also came up.
Sure.
We'll start with the first one, and all others, those who have questions, we are getting questions. Some of them are being answered at the same time. However, which there are some questions which Deepak sir will be directly answering. We'll start with the first question, sir. This came from Abhishek Chauhan, sir. How data science is different from digital transformation? It's a question from Abhishek Chauhan. I'll repeat it once again. How data science is different from digital transformation? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Back to you.
So to put it in this way, digital transformation, if you see, that means that something is happening manually, and you are actually, this is the basic, if you're the first point, if you say the manual things are being transformed into a digital format. Now, data science, we can say that there are automation going on the data science, which is a digital transformation. A manual algorithm, which was written earlier into the manual programming formatted, where you need to run 100 lines of a code, and now it is converted into the libraries, and that is being used. So there are techniques. So I will say that these two terms are not actually exactly the same. Digital transformation can happen in an organization or a process, or you can say product development or any kind of a thing, or like conducting meeting, etc. and all. Data science is something where you are taking a data and you are just converting into the format of a information and then utilizing it. So it's a overlapping. Data science can be a part of a digital transformation process rather than.
Thank you, sir. Hope that answered.
Yeah.
Abhishek Chauhan, sir, if you still have a question, if you want to ask further, I can unmute you and let me know.
Yes.
Second question came from Kirti Tikiani. She's asking what might be the KRAs of a data scientist. What all are the activities done by a data scientist?
Okay. So KRA varies from companies to companies and the domain a particular person is working. But overall, if the work is to extract the data, to make it usable, so like all the data scientists, they have the data, maybe that is provided by the company, or they collect, or sometimes it's a primary data, sometimes it's a big data, and there are a lot of formats like unstructured, structured, it's come as a raw format. So first job is to extract those data, transform it, make it in a usable format, and then start addressing the variables which is there in the data to solve the particular problem for which the data has been collected. So the normal KRA is to extract data, get the clean the data into the usual format, and then build the models, and then those models are actually used for solving that business problem. So this is the common KRA. Now, if the particular domain changes, like insurance sector has a different type of some kind of additional thing, the cleaning level of the data changes into the different sector. But if I tell you honestly, 70 to 80% of a job of a data scientist to the clean data itself. And now sometimes a person, there's a one role in the company who does everything, but sometimes if it is a large company, there are different types of role. Like the data cleaning people are different, those who are transforming the data, providing the data. Then there are data scientists whose job is just to build the model. They are not concerned about the data cleaning process and all. So it depending on the size of the environment, size of the organization, as well as a particular person who is capable enough to do a particular thing. So the KRA varies, but overall, this is what the format is.
Thank you, sir. Kirti, hope you got your answers. I'll go to the next question. This question came from Amit Jha. He wants to know how data science will be helpful in recovering the IT market, which is affected right now by COVID-19.
Okay, so this is a very, you can say, tough question to ask, because evolving market, or you can say the crisis has hit not only IT market, but it is also actually has hit all the data science market also. Now, if I can say one way of reviving the IT market with the help of data science. So all those softwares who have been used till that to collect those data or collect those customer information, now in IT company can utilize the persons of and their skills in the data science to look into the different types of businesses, where not only providing the software environment, but also adding analysis of those data and helping them to build their businesses. So they have to start looking for the different type of a business, you can say, opportunities, and then they can leverage. And also they can help in building the automation tool for, especially for data science industry. Right now they are building tools. Most of the IT companies are building tools for the big sectors, and data science team or data science companies is building tools for automation of their own. So even IT team can start, IT companies can start building the automated data tools, and then they can build their own businesses, and that will help them to gain momentum in this COVID time.
Thank you, sir. And hope, Amit, sir, you got your answers. Next question came from Prateek Bishan. He's asking like, what are the positives and negatives of this field? How exactly to get into it and steps to be taken? And if you need, if Prateek is not, if I'm not able to put forward Prateek's question properly, I can even unmute him in case he requires. Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
I'll.
that's exactly what I was asking.
Great. So Prateek, second question. So I guess I have covered that how exactly to get into this. You need a required skill set, and then you can enter into this particular field during my talk. Now, if I talk about what is the positive and negative, like every field has a positive and negatives, right? The first I'll tell the positive are there are so many things, because the opportunity is there. So many people can join, and I can say you don't need a exact background to do this, and anybody can learn and anybody can enter into this field. That is the best positive things, because to become like a doctor or engineer, or you can say software developers, and there you need a particular kind of a skill. But in data science right now, multiple dimensions people are working, right? Even if you have a person who is a PhD in geology and he is a data scientist, right? A person who comes from a social science background, or even I have seen a people from a history background to become a data scientist. I know such kind of examples. So that is a positive, that anybody can enter. As far as negative is concerned, this is a very wide field basically, and people sometimes misunderstood that what exactly they are going to do. For example, if you ask them, somebody will advise you, oh, you do artificial intelligence and you become a data scientist, right? But there are a step-by-step process. So it's not, there is an overlapping of the roles, overlapping of the designation, overlapping of the types of skills that required. So you have to start with, so this is one of the negative of this industry, that if you talk or Google employee who is working in a particular project, or a NASA scientist, and he tells you about the data science, he will tell you something different, robotics, etc., and so many great things. But if you talk about somebody from a simple organization like us, I might take you the data analytics aspects and then take you. So you have to be very much, you can say, in detail. You should be asking that what particular role is interested, you are interested in, and then only you can enter. So this is something which we can call it as a negative side of this, because awareness level is low.
Thank you, sir.
So there are a few more questions coming up.
Please.
So there are two questions which I found to be similar. One question is from Aditya and second is from Ishwar Rao.
Okay.
This question is like, are there any difference between data science and data analysis?
Definitely, there is a difference in the data science and data analysis. Data analysis is, you can say, the prior step of the data science, right? If you call it a data science, a person is building models, building, you can say, statistical, this is the wider. So data science is a big umbrella. Data analysis is a small part of that particular umbrella. Now there's other, like data architect, data engineer, data, you can say, analysis. It depends on the kind of a role, and like I said, the size of the organization. Even a smaller size of organization, a data scientist is doing a job of a data analysis also. But in a bigger organization, data analysis role is totally different, and data science role is totally different. So it depends, and gradually a people can transit from one role to another role. But data analysis is a common, you can say, terminology used. A person who is not building, he might not be building any statistical model. He might be analyzing a data into an Excel sheet and providing information. So that's why data analysis and data science is, there is a difference between that.
Thank you so much, sir. So there was a co-question which was asked from Ishwar Rao, and this is something similar to this. So what's the difference between data analyst and data scientist?
Yeah, like I said, that the person who is doing a data analysis job is called data analyst, and those who are doing a data science kind of a thing with building models, automating the algorithms, or you can say solving the bigger statistical problems using a bigger statistical technique, they are the data scientists. But it all depends on which company, what kind of a size of the company, what kind of a role that particular person is.
Thank you, sir. Hope Aditya, yours as well as Ishwara, your questions are answered now. There's another question which came up from Vaibhav. He's asking, sir, I have a question as I'm an engineering computer science graduate going for MBA in global marketing. How can I incorporate data science in my career going forward as it has huge potential?
Oh, good question. So since you are going for a MBA in global marketing, so in MBA also you will study definitely a paper called business statistics. And there you will be introduced to the statistical techniques if you haven't done in the past, or up to graduation level if you haven't studied mathematics. So statistics will be a part of this. And every marketing team nowadays utilizes a lot of tools, analytics tool. So that will help you to understand data science, and that will be incorporated into your own education. And if you build your interest in data science along with your MBA, and you are learning certain kind of tool, and you know how to analyze analytics techniques is being used using the particular tool on your data, this will be always an added advantage. So start learning data science techniques even if you are doing an MBA, but not in a technical format, but because since you'll be sound in business knowledge, that will give you an added advantage. So that is why data science techniques is very relevant or important for all those guys who are actually management graduate these days, because a company need a skill, technical skill also along with your MBA skills.
Thank you, sir. Another question which came from Jagrati Sharma. Can management student apply for data science, or can we, or she can her move to a data science field? So that is the
Certainly,
question she wants
yeah,
to.
certainly, definitely. A management students are always welcome because they are already having a one kind of a knowledge skill set, which is their domain knowledge. So even if they are not doing themselves, they might take some time to understand the algorithm and programming, but they will be a valuable asset for any of the data science job role. So that is why definitely they can definitely apply. And many of the right now industry is actually experiencing these things, that they are taking management graduates and converting them as a data scientist.
Many thanks, sir. Another question from Abhishek Chauhan again is he asked a question and he's thanking you for the answer. However, he's still asking like, are there any real-time example with respect to information security other than dashboard presentation in data science and data analytics?
Real-time example, I fail to understand basically what he is asking. Respect to information security other than the dashboard presentation. Dashboard presentation is a visualization of the data. Information security altogether a different, you can say, arena where you are securing the data, when you are collecting the data or storing on a cloud platform or a different location biasness, etc. So that is a different world. So he has to rephrase his question probably. Thank you,
So
Abhishek.
I will do one thing. I'll just unmute to him. I will
Yeah,
allow
and yeah, that will be
ask the
better.
question. So Abhishek sir, you are unmuted. You can ask the question now. Abhishek Chauhan.
Hello.
Yeah, Abhishek. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Deepak sir,
Welcome.
for giving us good knowledge and your experiences, and thank you, Yogi sir, to arrange all this wonderful session. Now, actually, I just wanted to, ask this question from a leadership perspective, because you are already a leader, and when a leader is connecting through digital transformation, because at this point of time, every leader want to connect with digital transformation for every domain.
Right.
So and in most of the scenarios, in most of the companies I have seen and I have felt that they are they want to look and they want to see the data and look and feel perspective, dashboard presentation, all other things. And when we are talking about information security, then we are also representing the data security, data custodian, and all other things with respect
Correct.
to information security. Now, how this data security, information security is correlated with the data science, and what could be the real-time example how we can make our process better with respect to data science for our data, information
Okay.
security data, other than dashboard, not related to dashboard, because dashboard presentation with in Power BI and Tableau is something different.
Right. So
Right.
dashboard presentation is of course for the representation of the data or a finding, you can
Right.
say. Right. But when we talk about information security or you can say customer data, or you are you can say custodian of the data, which data is collected by your company nowadays, why it is become, and I got your sense why you are asking this question, because of the work from home culture, people are accessing their data from different locations, right? And then companies
Right.
are actually, you can say, deciding the protocols, and they are allowing, sometimes you have a VPN access, sometimes you don't. Sometimes the data is residing on the cloud, or if you are working for a multinational companies, so you don't know where the
Right.
cloud server is. And then there are information security protocols. So we as a data
Right.
scientist also, and we as a company, if I say about my company or any of the company in our domain, we are very curious about these things. So we have a secured cloud and server where we are actually storing our data with a full security, and will full consent from the particular customer for whose data we are actually addressing and we are solving. So these protocols is there. It is totally different, right? Like you said, the dashboard is just a representation. Even for the dashboard also, we are just sending the findings. We are not sending the raw
Right.
data file over there. So that is being
Right.
taken care of. And this is very important right now to define the new way of accessing of the data, because everybody is not allowed. So instead of person to download now, like Microsoft Team and all those kind of a softwares where you can just go and SharePoint, etc. You work on that environment, on that cloud, and they are not allowing you to get the download data onto your particular PC and laptop. So that's how information security is being managed at present.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Abhishek, sir. So there is another question which is coming up. This is from Aditya. Is mathematics a must for data science?
Uh, I will say yes, of course, mathematics is must. And like in Indian education system, we all studied maths till 10th standard. So if you have done mathematics at the 10th standard, you are actually qualified fit to be in a data science. So that is how, because most of the techniques and the fundamentals we have been taught during our school days only. So higher algorithms, etc., is easy to understand if you have a good sound mathematics background. So maths is definitely necessary, maths and stats, for doing the data science job.
Thank you, sir. Hope Aditya got his answer. Another question which came from Swati Shetty. In which field we can do data science? Means, can we do this from BCom side as well? I mean, she wants to ask whether she's from.
Got it. Yeah, so she's from BCom side, whether she can do, definitely in a financial domain, if you say, because you are from a commercial background, so you can apply for a banks, you can apply for a financial companies where your skills can be utilized, and you have to just learn certain kind of you can say basic skills which I told you about, certain kind of programming. And there is not a core programming you are supposed to learn. You have to just learn how to use these programming platforms, and then you can become a data scientist. So definitely in a financial domain or banking domain, you can definitely apply.
Thank you, sir. Another question which is coming from Parikshit Sharma. How is a business analyst role similar to that of a data scientist, as mentioned in one of your slides?
Okay, so business analyst role, business analyst is also part of a data science umbrella itself, because business analyst is a person who is actually decoding the problem raised by the business, right? So he is the person who analyzes the different business scenario and try to get the insight from that scenario which is there, and then he actually define the problem in a, you can say, more refined way for a data science, or you can say data scientist person to taking over up. So the person who is having a business analysis skill, he actually identify the problem, and then that problem is being solved by data scientists using helping of the data which is present at that point of time. So that is why it is a business analysis also a part of a data science only, and on for domain expertise, or you can say skill set for a business knowledge.
Thank you, sir. I know we are crossing time. However, the questions are being interesting, so that's why we're giving space.
Okay.
So another question which from Ishwar Rao. He's asking, what are the tools and softwares which are used by a data scientist in data analysis, and are they same? If the tools are same which are being used by data scientist and data analyst.
Okay, so like I said, that data science is a very wide field, and it all depends on a kind size of the data you are handling. If you are handling billions of record, then you need a big data methodology or Hadoop or a Spark or those kind of infrastructure where you are actually tackling so much huge data sets, right? So that tools is especially for data science. Now, if I say that the tools like Tableau or a Power BI or even Excel or SAS or SPSS, these tools does the work for data analysis also, and it is being used in data science also. So if you're training a model, or if you're doing some kind of a machine learning job through these tools, then it become a data science tool. If you're doing a simple frequency distributions or a diagnostic analysis or descriptive analytics onto that, then it becomes a data analysis job. So same tool can be used in both depending on the size of the tool or a kind of a data this tool can handle. So even in Excel sheet, also sometimes a data scientist also uses Excel sheet, because we can build simple regression model using Excel sheet also. But that is that one tool which is highly used for the data analysis perspective. So there's a tools which is being used in both the environment, in a data science also and in data analysis also.
Thank you, sir. Another question which came from Sagar Shah. So as the demand is increasing for data science, the competition is also increasing. How to overcome or stand out, and how to become different from others?
Great, Sagar. And this is true for not only for this particular field, this is true for every field, right? So whenever the demand increasing, of course, the competition is increasing. Standout is like how and what all different you know. Right. So suppose you know the tools, and you have to build the skill set for the business knowledge also. So more practice and more knowledge if you gain, then you can stand out in the crowd. So added skills, whatever added skills you have, whatever added knowledge you have, that will play the key role when you are selected. And then soft skills is very important, because like I said, that you have to be open to every problem. You have to keep your mind open for knowing different types of things which is happening in the industry, and then you can stand apart. So even there is a competition, there is a high demand, and if you are actually having a required skill set on a, you can say, decent fundamental background, then it will give you that advantage.
So the next question is from a class 9 student.
Okay.
Path that we can choose for taking data science as a career. This came from a student from Aurangabad. His name is Kabir Kulkarni.
Okay, so Kabir, what is he asking? Can you repeat again?
What is the best path that we can choose for taking data science as a career?
Okay, so you are very young right now because you are in just ninth standard, so you might not understand the whole big things. But for you, the school education, start learning of coding at your level, because you can learn coding faster. So if you are starting with a Python skill, and then whatever statistics and mathematics is being taught in the school curriculum, try to implement that particular concept using the tool Python. So for example, you are learning a frequency distribution, so you should be start learning how you can utilize you can generate a frequency distribution with the help of Python, and that will make you gradually prepared for the data science role, because you will be coming in the industry after 7 or 8 years. Things might change at that point of time, but the knowledge which you will gain during your school education as well as your higher secondary and a college will help you out there. So start developing your coding skill in the beginning itself.
So, sir, there is one question, because there are few questions which look similar. So that's why I thought of putting them. There is one question from Karan Gowda, who is talking about uh, the talented freshers. Like, if a fresher has a knowledge, and how he can be absorbed by a company, because everywhere people are asking for experienced data scientists. So there is a similar question which came from Pawan Kumar Amrawat. He's saying, like, I'm a 2019 pass out student. I want to become a data scientist. And I guess he knows Python.
Okay.
And he is in a medium level. He has a medium level knowledge of Python. So how can he get into data scientist knowledge? So these are two questions which came up. So what would be your message for such budding data scientist specialists? I mean, those who completed their graduation, or they are on the verge of completing their graduation or post graduation. And so one would be clubbed to this is from Swati.
Okay.
She's asked, can we become a self-taught data scientist or not? Or is it necessary to go for a PG diploma?
Okay, so to answer all of this, this is very important question, and I think it might be in the mind of many of all those guys who have just passed out and they are going to pass on in coming years. The first thing is that even the first thing is you have to show your work. Okay, so if you see, there are a lot many platforms like Kaggle and all others who is running a lot of hackathon, right? There are companies who runs a hackathon. So you have to be ready for that. You have to build a small project, upload it in a GitHub, and try to show that project with the hiring managers, right? For example, if you contact me for hiring, you will say, okay, apart from sending the CV, you also send the link of the project which you have done. So you take a data set which is publicly available, because you will not have access of a private data set, etc., of the organization, but you can definitely have the generally use most of the use data set, build your own model, try to get some kind of a problems and solve it through as per your knowledge. That way you can build a project portfolio. And this is very important for data science. If a person having a GitHub account and he has shown 5 different types of algorithm which he has implemented on whatever data sets he has got, that will be given an added advantage. And like the another girl which she was asking about, that self-taught, definitely, because these days every individual has to be a self-taught individual, because the access of the information is too much, right? There are so many online portals where you can go and learn even. And but the best advice I can give it to all of you is restrict to one source. You should not go and switch multiple sources, and you should not, for example, you are going and searching a particular course, you don't have to go in each and every video where somebody is uploaded. And then also, if you are referring a book, you should not go for the same topic in 5 different books. No, any book is perfect. So select one source and try to get knowledge, acquire knowledge from one that particular source, build your own project portfolio, and then solve the problem and upload it in a GitHub and others, and let other people also comment and they also contribute in your research, and that way you can show your work. Okay, so hackathon is a one part which you should do it. GitHub account, solve problems, post it over there, and then connect to those, build your network where you can show the people. And if company is organizing the hackathons or a certain kind of analytics event, you should participate in that and show your talent that way. And then don't assume that you have become a data scientist by just running a 2-3 linear regression or a certain kind of a neural network problem. You will not, because the real challenge will occur once you join the organization, when you see the real problem. So these are the problems which somebody else has already solved. You should also try to solve that and build your credibility accordingly. That way all the freshers can be absorbed in the industry. So once people will see your real work, then they can do it. So that is what very important. Show your work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So there is one last question which came. What are the benefits for statistics graduates if they want to pursue their career in data science?
Oh, they are the hot cake, you can say. The statistics graduate has more, because they have the one major required skill of a statistics, but not from the academic point of view, but also from the application point of view. They should be knowing those algorithms, how can that can be fit to solve the business problem. So they have to utilize their statistics knowledge to solving the business problem. Then they become a data scientist. So if they have a statistics and they understand the softwares, they understand a little bit of programming, and then their acumen is actually for the solving the business problem, they become good into that. So statistics is always an added advantage.
Thank you, sir. There is one more quick question which came right now from Jagrati Sharma. What are the branches of data science which is good for career?
We have spoken a lot about that. There are multiple branches, like a data architect, you can say engineer, and data analyst, and then data science, of course. So these are the guys are different. So a person who is having a core software skills, they go and build data product. So we call it as a data architect or a cloud specialist, and all those guys. So people with you can say not very good core programming understanding, but have a good business acumen, a good understanding of analysis, they become a data analyst. So there are multiple domains. Based on your own skill set, you can choose one of them, and gradually you can build a skill set for others.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other questions coming on from anyone? And meanwhile, we have shared a link for your feedback. We just want to know how was it, and that will definitely improve all of us. I mean, especially Helping Brains, because this is our first event.
Right.
We want to have a great speaker like Deepak sir today to start off the game, to flag off the game. So I hope, I mean, for me, this was one of the most important event, and because this is this is an experimental first event that we have conducted. And secondly, this was a great topic because, data is the next oil. So when from a data security data, like Abhishek sir pointed out, because he deals with information security, data science got great importance everywhere. That being said, any other questions? So one more question, sir, quickly came up. It's from Ishwar Rao. How difficult easy for a person with 3 years of experience in finance domain but zero experience in required skills for data scientist to see career path see career path in data science?
Okay, so Ishwar, to answer your, because you have a 3 years, you're asking for a 3 years of experience in finance domain. So definitely you have the knowledge of a finance domain, right? So if you look for a role in similar to finance analyst or data, you can say analyst in the finance domain, that will help you. Because if you don't have at present, you don't have a skill of a programming or you can say statistics, but you have a business understanding. So you can be a part of a team where you can become a business analyst in the finance domain and then gradually build your skill and move it to the data science, because you have to understand the tools. Whether you know a programming or don't know the programming is fine, but you have to understand how to use tools, how to utilize your financial experience, how to utilize the financial data analysis using certain kind of a tool will help you to transit into the data science role, core data science role. But definitely this is you can definitely try for a business analyst or finance analyst role.
Thank you, sir. One more question which came from Aditya. Sir, I am not good at maths. Should I take data science?
No, you are not good at maths, but definitely you will must be good at you can say computers or maybe a business knowledge. Maths, if you are not good, the skills can be built, right? So you should not assume that if you are not good at math right now, it doesn't mean that you will be never good at in maths in future also. So instead of taking as a negative, and most of the people have this fear: I'm not good at computers, should I go in data science? I'm not good at statistics, should I go in data science? So if you know you are not good at math, or if you already know you are not good at a certain kind of a particular skill, you can definitely build it, right? And not, you might not become an expert, but definitely you can know that much which is required, right? So just do the trade-off. And if you're not good at math, build your math skill, but still you can start in the data science, and once you will start working, you will gradually build an interest in mathematics also.
Thank you. Any other questions coming up from anyone? Thank you, Parikshit sir. Thank you so much for the feedback. Hope you enjoyed it. Anybody? Anybody? Any other questions coming up? No, I'm getting some personal feedback also, sir. That session was interesting. A lot of people got some
Okay.
directions and all. So I'm getting it on WhatsApp. So I'm just reading it. That's why I post. So, that was the main intent, to reach the mass. So at least the people who attended it, they got a direction. So I'm very happy. So we started getting some feedback as well on the feedback sheet, that people really loved it. So and they loved your presentation.
Okay.
They might have been impressed with your childhood photograph. I'm sure with that. So the presentation was awesome. So yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
So
Yeah.
thank you,
So
everyone.
yeah,
It was wonderful meeting all
some
of them.
closing notes from Sneha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here, sir. Same here. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. This
Okay.
was definitely awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Yadu.
Closing notes from Sneha.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. And I feel when you mentioned about history graduate, I myself is a history graduate and my brother is statistics graduate. So, I was like, okay, now this is the time, I can start. So thank you so much for this motivation, not just for me, but for everyone else. And we are looking forward for, more contribution from your side. And I'm sure we will be having more doubts and more questions regarding the same. So,
Anytime.
yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much, audience, for being here with us. And we hope to see you in all other e-talks that we are going to organize in every Sundays. So thank you. Looking forward to your participation.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great Sunday. Bye.
Bye-bye.